Hello friends, Tanya here with a video featuring the Trinity Stamps layered ice cream stencils and dies. This is a fun little die set that works independently or with the stencil. There are so many different little pieces. We've got fallout letters, we've got a die that does the embossing of the waffle cone. Here I've I've stenciled and die cut all of the different pieces and showed you a bunch of different ways that this could be used. You can save those fallout letters from this sentiment die that you drop into the ice cream cone or whatever you want. Here we've got a stenciled waffle cone and then the just embossed one, both die cut with that same die. And we have lots of different ice creams. This is how I got the stenciled stenciled cone cut with a piece of copier paper as the guide. Those are die cut, solid color cardstock, and just stenciled. This one is the cone totally stenciled and then die cut with a white border. And this is without the white border, just the different cone pieces. The sweet has a shadow layer that you can put behind it. This is just jam-packed with options. And these are pretty low price point. I think both of them are less than $12. This is the stencil. It's one 6x6 stencil and it has two masking pieces, one for the cone and one for the scoop of ice cream. I'm going to stencil this with brushed corduroy and I think ultimately a walnut stain, but I was showing you the glass container that I put my little blending foams in when I'm working on a project. It just keeps everybody corralled. It's a candle holder, really. It's just a large bowl, glass bowl that I put everything in. Now I've lined up my stencils, used those two colors of ink, and I've got this beautiful layered waffle cone. And I'm going to actually put 3 cones on this card front. I'm using 2 different tones of yellows here. Actually, it's a yellow and an orange, very pale. We're going with a pastel look here for some fun fruity flavored ice cream. This is scattered straw, and I will clean my stencil. Actually, no, I won't clean my stencil. I'm living dangerous here. I'm layering the shadow die over the top, and I'll add some dried marigold. That adds the perfect touch. To me, this looks like a rich vanilla ice cream scoop. Next, I'm going to put the masks on. I tried to stick them down with some washi tape first, but that did not work. And I ended up going with the Best Ever Graph tape from Spellbinders. That stuff is amazing. I'm using some painter's tape to just keep this stencil where I need it to be. I've placed the masks down over the first ice cream cone, and now I'm going to stencil the 2 other ice cream cones that are going to be on this card front. We're going to add the waffle cone detail, and I'm trying to be very careful to not get ink through the other parts of the stencil. They are spaced out quite a bit so that unless you're being rather reckless, you won't get ink where you don't want it. If I feel like I might get ink where I don't want it, I do cover that area with some painter's tape or with another piece of cardstock. There's an exposed edge there, and I am always likely to accidentally get things when I don't cover those edges. I'm going to line up. Oh, here I did clean my stencil. I readjusted where that scoop mask was, and you can see that I'm overlapping the top of the cone just a little bit with my ice cream scoop stencil. I'm going to use some pinks here. We have worn lipstick and abandoned coral. We'll use the worn lipstick to do my scoop, and somehow I moved my mask. I'm just going to quickly fix that and continue stenciling. And we'll use the shadow one next. This is so I don't have to clean my stencil any more than necessary. If you let that ink dry between layers, sometimes that works a little better. However, I'm happy with the results here. Now I'm using tumbled glass and Salvaged Patina. This makes such a pretty blue scoop combo. kind of blue raspberry like. So we've got a red raspberry and a blue raspberry and a vanilla. That's what it looks like to me. And it looks so yummy. I did go ahead and stencil a bunch of different scoops of ice cream. And I'm showing you the two different scoop dies here. One leaves a white border and one cuts right to the edge of the scoop. Now we've got a die that cuts the entire ice cream cone. I've chosen to spatter my card front with some liquid pixie dust, and I'm going to make a full panel shaker card. I did trim this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I got a piece of stamp packaging. Don't have to purchase this, that comes with all your stamps. And I trimmed it down to about 6 inches by 5 inches, something like that. It's about an inch bigger than my card front. I'm folding over the edges, and I've used some double-sided tape. We've got these Soiree sprinkles here, and there are full balls in here. They aren't half-back pearls. These are full balls and some sprinkles. I think I had too many of those balls, so I'm going to add those back to my little baggie. If you purchase this, it comes in a container, but since I'm on the design team, I got it in a baggie. That's okay. I still got lots of sprinkles. And that's probably half or less than what you get in your container, what I got in my baggie. And I'm trimming off the extra packaging so I don't have extra bulk at the corner and so nothing peeks out. And I love how those all shake in our full-size shaker panel. Love it. This is my favorite way to make a shaker. It is so easy, so no fuss. I'm going to adhere this to my card base. I do like to have a border around my panels. That's why I trimmed it down. You wouldn't have to. If you want it to cover the entire card front, you can have it do that. Here I'm just playing with the shaker bits because that is the best. Now I'm taking all of these fallout letters from a different ice cream cone, and I'm going to put them on the inside of my card. Yes, it's a little fussy. Yes, I'm going to show you the whole process because I want you to see that it doesn't take that long to assemble. Trinity Stamps also has a number of fallout sentiments that are the same font and the same size. So you can go ahead and combine your different fallout sentiments to build your own sentiment, or just to use portions of it. I love that extra versatility. I bet you if you line up the different fallout sentiments that you have probably almost an entire alphabet and multiples of some of the more common letters. I'm just putting little dabs of glue behind each of these letters, and here I forget how to spell for a second. I'm going to put the D where the T should be, but I remember how to spell before the glue dries and correct myself. I'm using my reverse tweezers as an extra set of fine detail fingers because Lord knows these little letters are tiny. Almost done. Just have 2 letters left, and that will complete the entire Have a Sweet Birthday sentiment. I had already die cut these as samples for the product close-up video, and I love to use my extra bits. I want a sentiment on the front, and I want it to be very general and to fit with our main image. So I'm using the Modern Embossed Alphabet, which came out this month also. Love this. And I'm die cutting the word yum. Why not? I want some ice cream. I bet you do too. I die cut it from some colored cardstock that I'd spritzed with some Distress mica spray stains, and I did die cut another layer of white cardstock to put behind them to make them have a little more dimension and a little more stability. I'm just gluing those pieces together, and I did glue those directly to the acetate. So in order to make sure these are well adhered together, I put them under a heavyweight block before I adhere them to the front of our card. I do contemplate putting it right smack in the middle, but I didn't want to cover any of that gorgeous stenciling. I mean, we've got the shaker bits already getting in the way. So I'm just going to set them down on my acetate and let them dry. Now, since this is such an uneven surface because of the shaker bits, you can't put your heavyweight block over the acetate to make sure those stay exactly where you want them. And don't be moving your pieces around because you get glue where you don't want it. Now, the Barely Art Precision Glue does dry clear. I just didn't want to take any chances. So I used the pokey end of my pickup stick to remove some of that glue before it became a problem. Now, this is a 4-bar card that we're going to make this time, and I pulled out the 4-bar card and envelope builder die set to do the matting layers for this. This is a stenciled waffle cone and a die cut scoop, ice cream scoop. I'm going to create a card just with those two. I've got a panel of shimmery white cardstock matting this layer with the cone on it, and I pulled out the liquid pixie dust again and spattered all over that card base because my heart just cannot stand a simple white background. I just can't do it. For those of you that can do clean and simple without doing something to your cardstock, more power to you. I can't do it. It is just not in me. So I've adhered my scoop to my waffle cone, and now I pulled out the Summer Sparkles gems. These are so pretty. They're a bunch of pastel colors, and they're pretty translucent, so they do pick up the color of the cardstock that you put them on top of. So if you're using them on a dark cardstock, yeah, you may just as well use a different gem. But white cardstock, yes, the colors shine through. It's very pastel, and I love that. It is perfect for this card. Just adding a scattering of these different gems throughout the card. And then I pulled out the Have a Sweet Birthday. I'm taking the sweet, and I die cut that from some rainbow foiled cardstock or mirror cardstock. And this was over the green portion. That just happened to be the scrap I found in my bin. And I am gluing that to a shadow layer die out of vellum. Now, you're putting this right over the top of an area that's been die cut out of. In fact, that shadow is very little. It's only a very tiny bit bigger than that. And I wasn't sure if that was going to adhere. It sure did, though. It looks awesome. Next, I'm taking a piece of cardstock that I ink blended with the ground espresso Distress Oxide ink and then spritzed with the, oh gosh, now I don't remember what it's called, but it's Distress Mica Spray Stain. And I trimmed that down to, excuse me, 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. No, yes. And put that behind the woven cover plate, which I die cut in crumb cake or craft cardstock. Now I'm going to adhere that ink blended and spattered panel behind our woven panel, and I'm using my favorite method to put glue on a fine detail piece. I'm actually adding my ink blended piece to the back of that panel by flipping it over because it's just slightly smaller than the cover plate. Now I'm going to glue this to a 3 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch mini slimline card base. So again, sometimes I want that little white border, and in this particular case I made a slightly bigger than 3 by 6 inch mini slimline card. Next, I'm taking my already assembled ice cream cone and I'm adding it to a vellum circle. I used the Modern Embossed circle stack to cut a, I think it's about 3-inch circle. And I'm adding extra dimension behind the vellum, behind the ice cream cone. We'll adhere that to our card. And then I pull out some of the ice cream scoops that I've already die cut. I had ink blended those earlier, and why not use them? Just going to tuck those in behind the vellum. I want this to just look like a bunch of ice cream scoops giving us that feel of yummy ice cream parlor goodness. I am going to trim off the extra vellum, and my long bladed shears finally made a reappearance since Christmas. They had disappeared since everyone was gift wrapping. I found them under the couch, of all places. I am adding some of these beautiful crystal sunset gems. These are gorgeous. I'm telling you, you're going to want these. These and so there's the Twilight and then there's the sunset. The sunset is the orangey red, and the Twilight is the blues and purples. I just think these gems are gorgeous. Just adding a scattering of those across the entire card front. That is card number 2. No, that was card number 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure enjoyed putting it together. Let me know in the comments below which one you loved the most, and if you have an ice cream parlor that you are going to go visit because of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Do that now. If you're interested in any of the product that I used today, check that description box below. There will be a clickable link list right there for you. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.